at Instagram. Thank you for those who tuned. Just testing the sound, yeah? Yeah, can you hear me, Joe? Just speaking, going live into Swansea. The audio's gone now, I can't hear you at all, it's gone. Yeah, that's better, I can hear you now, Yeah. Oh, I see. The chat's difficult with the chat, 'cause I've got to swipe to see what you say, and then it closes the screen. But in fact, type something now. I'll see. Type something, and then I think. Okay, I can see at the bottom. Okay, if you type very small, like that word "hello" it goes onto the bottom of my screen. Just a little. Yeah. Yeah, I can still hear you. Yeah. Yep, sounds perfect to me. Sounds perfect to me. No, I haven't got any feedback. No feedback. Yeah, take your time, man. Don't worry about that. Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I know it's like people just come, like people take their time, whatever. Yeah, take your time then. Take your time. Yeah. I've also got if anyone struggle with the link, I also put it on my Instagram as well, so they can click on my Instagram or whatever if they're following me. So, yeah. In fact, some people on Instagram ask you questions. What's my thoughts on the corona? What's my thoughts on corona? So I mean, see the way. I mean, to be fair, I'm talking to Instagram people, David. Why are you waiting? Yeah, but yeah, so in terms of my thoughts on Corona, like I get it, I get the severity for the people who are suffering from it, but for me personally, I'm not too concerned myself. For me personally, because it's just the way that my paradigm's set up, the way I go to the gym, the way I keep my health, it's just not something I'm too concerned with. You know, even when the flu or anything comes around, it's not something that I ever really panic about. You know, like I used to be very crude. Like when I was younger, like when I say my paradigm's so extreme, I used to be like, you know, even if I was to have sex with someone with HIV, I probably wouldn't get it, you know, because that's how strong in my belief I was that I'm just immune to everything. So I'm not saying that I'm immune to it, but I'm just not too concerned about it. Yeah, no, take your time, man. Take your time. But yeah, I do get what you mean. Yes, for the sick and the elderly, that's what I'm saying. It's like for the elderly or for the weak, just generally, even when they get a cold, etc. You know, their immune system's not as strong as young people. So I can understand when it comes to the elderly, the coronavirus could be a problem for them. But for me personally, hey, David, you just log into my, you just come into my live. So that means I got you twice. Like you got me sweating now, man. So yeah, so put it to you, David, like. If people are struggling on the Zoom call, then they can go onto they can go onto the Instagram. Like either way, they should get on it. And also bear in mind on the Zoom call that it will cut out after 40 minutes, and we'll have to do it again. So what time did it come on? Was it 10:02 or 5:02 roughly? Yeah, so about half past whatever. We may need to just go on it again. Yeah. Cool. Right, so just before I start then, just for anyone listening, hi everyone, I know I can't see you, but you can see me. And yes, this Q&A, it's all about you. I just want to try and give as much value as I can possibly to yourselves. And I want it to be more like a conversation. And if I say something, don't be afraid to ask Daffy to interrupt, and you might want to pull me up on it to ask a bit further. And if I say something that kind of piques your interest, write it down. I don't mind if we go 10 minutes into the Q&A and then you say, well, Coyote, you said something 10 minutes ago. Can I just quickly ask you more about that? So feel free if you do want to pull me up on anything I say at any point. We don't have to keep it streamlined. It's all about how much value I can possibly give to you. Okay, brilliant. So in terms of the first question, let me just quickly pull it up. Alright then, so the first question was, what are some of the main topics you've talked about as a professional speaker and why? Now, when this question first came through, I was a bit confused by it. And, when I spoke to Daffy as well this morning about it, I was confused at what angle the person who asked it wanted me to go down. Because whenever I get booked to speak, it's not necessarily a topic of my choice. People are booking me to speak to their audience about like whatever it is they want me to speak to them about. So for example, like when I look outside the window now, I can see door number 100 and 43. But that's giving you too close to where I live. But they might ask me, say, talk about door numbers, for example. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of topics, it's all about the audience. So same with this Q&A with yourselves at Swansea University. It's what you guys want to get from me. And I think that the reason why, when I came off The Apprentice, I think it was even more apparent what is my topic, what isn't. Because when I came off the show, I had people pulling me in all different directions to do anything. Like people booked me for me. They put me for me, and then to speak about the topic, whatever it is, will fit them, if that makes sense. So in terms of my bookings as a professional speaker, I find my bookings come from me outwards rather than topic inwards. They want to book me, then how can I fit in their conference, or how can I then fit in their event or whatever it is? Man, my ears are not compatible for earphones, Like, I think Apple, Steve Jobs, whatever, they need to sort out earphones to make it, like, maybe it doesn't fit my ears properly. But yeah, so I was saying, so in terms of topics for me, it comes from me outwards rather than them saying speak on X, well, rather than them saying whatever, if that makes sense. So, I've got some of the topics here of the last 12 months I've spoken on. Spoken on business, spoken on motivation, I've spoken on public speaking, training people in terms of their public speaking. I've done talks on apprenticeships, I've done talks on self-love, I've done talks on leadership. So as you can see, they're all varied. There isn't, I think, one common trend. And I think that as a speaker, so when this question came through, I was wondering, right, was this person asking this question because they want to become a speaker? So I'm going to assume maybe that is why they asked it, because they do want to become a speaker. Now, this method of me speaking from inside out, where they want to book me first primarily, then speaking a topic, if I'm 100% honest with you, as a business point of view, from a business standpoint, it is not that, oh my gosh, there's not that much longevity in it. It's not a recommended business model, put it that way. I would not recommend it at all. I think you have to be very, very lucky to have that speaking business model of they just want to book you outwards. Because the minute that you're not hot, they don't want to book you, then that's income gone. Whereas if you're an expert in, for example, business, motivation, self-love, leadership, sales, whatever, people will be searching for sales and you're automatically always going to come up. Whereas I only come up is if I'm hot, if I'm in the news at the time, or on The Apprentice, or even before The Apprentice I was doing media stuff anyway. So I've been very fortunate whereby people always want to book me for me. However, if you want to be an aspiring speaker, then I do not recommend it at all, because I even find it for myself. If I haven't got an article out in a paper, or if I'm not on a TV show at the minute, or if I'm not doing X or I'm not doing Y, then my bookings will dry up, then I'm not getting inquiries, if that makes sense. So in terms of speaking models, I recommend you becoming an expert first. Become an expert in a topic first, and then let people find you, rather than them finding you and trying to fit you into a topic. Because I'm part of an organisation called the Professional Speaking Association in the UK, and I'm also part of the Global Speaker Federation. Now, I've been part of this since we're in 2020 now, since 2015. So 5 years. And every single event I go to for them, or any single conference, it's always the question, and I hate, it's one of my triggers, you get me? It's one of my triggers. They always ask me, or what's your topic, or what do you speak about? And as a speaker, I hate it when people ask me that, because I don't have a topic, I don't have something I speak about. They book me for me, but it doesn't help. But in over the last 5 years in the speaking world, they always say to me, you need to niche down. Or in America, they say you need to get a niche, or you need to niche down. But for me, I don't know, man. I'm not that good at commitment. I mean, I don't like committing to anything. Like, I don't want to just commit to one avenue. I don't want to just speak on sales, or just speak on leadership, or just speak on motivation. I like having my hands on different pies. However, just when it comes to marketing, you can't market yourself in so many different pies. If you can market yourself specifically to one avenue, it's much easier. Let's just say you've got a product. Yeah, you've got a product. If you know specifically who your market is, who your target audience is, it's much more easier for you to create marketing copy, to create different campaigns to target that specific audience. Whereas if you've got a product like me, where you're jack of all trades to everybody, where do you even start to market that apart from marketing yourself? So if I could start again as a speaker, maybe I wouldn't become a speaker so soon. Maybe I'll try to pick one specific topic area, rather than just becoming a speaker and then people book me for everything, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, or off the back of that, or yeah. Okay, so so the question is, if I got it right, how long have I been speaking for, and what got me interested? Yeah. Okay, it's cool. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. That's cool. Now, I get this question a lot. Maybe I need to do a video on this separately, or do a blog or another piece of content. This is a question I get asked often. When did I start speaking? Now, I used to make the joke that, I started speaking when I was 3 years old. Cause like everybody, that's when you start speaking. But the truth of the matter is that when I was at school, 11 to 15, I was naturally confident. You get what I mean? And when you're naturally confident, you naturally put yourself into speaking positions. Whether it's little things like in class, like your class rep or a prefect, or whatever it is at school, whatever you've titled it. So at school, I was naturally in speaking positions. And I remember the first kind of workshops I kind of did, even before that actually. The way that I realised when I first was able to speak is when I got into trouble with the law, when I was like 16. And now that when unfortunately I had to go to court for it at 16, and I wasn't prepared. I was not prepared to stand in front of a judge. It was just completely mind blowing. And I remember the judge saying, myself and my co-defendant, the judge said to us, giving all these threats about, if you look outside, you see the circle vans, the buses are going to take you to prison. See them prison, like, he's just giving us so many threats. And then he goes to us, he says something along the lines of, do you have anything to say to yourself? And I remember thinking, I can't remember, I don't know if it was divine intervention, I don't know what it was, but I remember when I stood up, whatever I said that day, all the barristers and all the court people, they looked up like, wow, like this guy, like what on earth? And that was the first day when I realised that, right, I can speak, because my freedom was on the line, you know what I mean? And from there and then I was like, right, I didn't plan that speech, I don't know what, even till now, I can't remember what I said. But the judge didn't send us to jail that day. Do you get what I mean? And from then I realised, wow, I got this ability to speak. So not only did I realise during school times that I was quite good at public speaking, when I got put in a firing line when my life depended on it, I was able to speak. And then at 16, 17, I started to go to, I don't know if do you have connections in Wales? Did you have connections? So there's an organisation, I think it was nationwide in England at least, but if not in London. It was just a place for young people, 16 to 18. Once you leave school, they give you, short courses, day courses on conflict resolution, public speaking, whatever, different kind of skills. And one of them was an opportunity to train professionals in London on how to communicate with young people. And during the public speaking training, I did very, very well. So they took me on board to go around London, me and 5 others. I led it, and we used to train people like professionals such as teachers, police officers, psychologists, how to communicate better with young people. And that was the first time I got paid to speak. I was like 16, I got what? I mean, I laugh at it now, but at the time it was a big deal for me. I got like £50 for half a day. And back then, I think I was on what, £5 an hour, maybe on my day job, or £4 something an hour. So that from then at 16, working with the professionals around London, I was like, right, I can actually do this. I went off to university, didn't do the speaking as much as getting paid, but again at university I was that confident guy. I was hosting shows, I was, representing my class as a course rep at uni. I eventually became vice president of my students' union. So all throughout my university journey, I was doing roles whereby I had to do public speaking. And then once I graduated, the demand was still there. I used to be the director of the National Union of Students, for example. And then people were just naturally asking to, can I speak here? Can I speak there? Can I speak here? Can I speak there? And then in 2016, about March 2016, so I graduated in 2013. I was in office as vice president and as a director of the NUS until 2014. My dissertation supervisor, my project supervisor, my third year, emailed me in 2016 saying, "Coyote, I want you to come and open this conference in Manchester." Because I got published in Motivation and Self-Efficacy the year before at the conference. He said, "Right, can you come back and open it?" And he said, "Well, pay me." And it's something like £100. And I was like, at the time, I was like, "Wow, £100 to come and speak? That I'll do that." And then from then it just completely kept going up and up and up. And I realized that right, I can actually make a career of this. And it's quite organic, really. It's quite organic. Do I ever get nervous? I wouldn't say I get nervous as such, because when you do things a lot, it's not necessarily nerves you feel, it's just a buzz, it's excitement. However, if I was going to do a talk whereby I haven't done before, the largest audience I've spoken in front of was like 4,000, say about 4,500 to 5,000 people. So anything up to that, I'm very, very comfortable with. Do you know what I mean? It's like anything up to that level, I'm more than comfortable. Put me in front of 10,000 people, I might feel a bit nervous because I haven't done that before, 20,000 or whatever. It's like the first time I did a live TV audience on the BBC in 2015. I hadn't done that before, so yes, I was a little bit nervous because I haven't done that before. But in terms of confidence, you just look back and I realize that, right, I haven't necessarily spoken to millions of viewers on TV before, but I have spoken to maybe 500,000 or da-da-da. So it's only when, I would only feel nervous if I'm going up a level I haven't done before. So not to say that I don't feel nervous at all if I'm doing audience sizes that I've done before, but it's only when I'm doing something new and novel, it's naturally for people to feel nerves of some type of way. And I think that anyone who says otherwise is perhaps lying or perhaps trying to come across a bit bravado. Let's be real. You put someone in front of 1 million people, live audience, and they're not telling, and they're going to say they're not nervous. Of course, they might not be nervous, but they definitely will feel something. Whether they define that as nerves or whether they define that as excitement or whatever. Yeah. So it's the So how? That's number 3. Sorry, yes. So, wow, this is a long one. We can be here for a while. This is a big one. So the question I've got here is, what tips would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur, and what makes a good entrepreneur in your opinion? So it's like a twofold, yeah. So what tips would I give, and what makes a good entrepreneur? I think first things first. If I even dive into it, I think the first thing to recognize, and perhaps I should have even said this at the beginning of this Q&A. I think the first thing to recognize is that this is advice I got not necessarily in terms of becoming an entrepreneur, but this is advice I got as a speaker, but I also apply it to being an entrepreneur as well. And it's this: to listen to everybody's advice, but to be careful whose tips you actually take. So you can listen to everybody's advice, you can listen, but be very careful who you actually take on board. So that goes for the same as a Q&A. So everything I've already said at the beginning, as well as everything I'm going to continue saying for the rest of it, listen to it, but don't apply everything I'm saying to you, because what's worked for me might not work for you. It's like when our grandparents give us advice. Our grandparents, I've only got one living at the moment, RIP to my granddad and whatever. But when your grandparents give advice, they might be giving you advice what worked in their world in the 60s, 70s, 80s might not apply to you now in 2020. So yes, the advice they're saying is correct. However, it might not be very applicable to what you're saying, what's happening right now in 2020. So that's my biggest tip of advice, to listen to everyone's advice, but be careful whose advice you actually take. Now let's get into it. That was just like the introduction. That was just a synopsis. That was just like, if you got a research paper, that was just the abstract. So now in terms of tips to inspiring an entrepreneur, I think the first, we need to strip it back. We need to really strip it back and identify, what do we actually mean by entrepreneur? What is an entrepreneur? What is an entrepreneur? And I think this is a term, when you go to Google Words and when you type in a definition and you can see their usage over time from the 1900s to 1910, 1920, it's a word that literally has peaked like significantly over the last 5-10 years. And because of that, I feel like it's used very loosely, not necessarily in a bad way, but I feel like it's used sometimes whereby it shouldn't be. And because what do we mean by entrepreneur? Because for me, I love Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. And the reason that's stuck into my mind is because on the weekend, I just recorded a webinar presentation, which I need to edit and get up there. And I was revisiting Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. And he says that, right, you've got your job. You go to becoming a self-employed person or a freelancer. In fact, I hate the term freelancer. You're not a freelancer, you're a paid lancer, because you're not doing it for free, they're paying you. So don't ever call yourself a freelancer, you're a paid lancer. Then you said you go to a business owner and then to an investor. So now there's 4 different people there. Your person with a job, you got your self-employed, you got your business owner, and you got your investor. Are all of those people entrepreneurs? Maybe, oh my God. Yeah. Are all of those people entrepreneurs? Maybe not. Is a person with a job an entrepreneur? We can cross off unlikely. Is a person who's self-employed an entrepreneur? I'm beginning to question that now, because all a self-employed person is someone who does a particular skill and gets paid for it on their own dime rather than under an employee's time. Are they entrepreneur? I don't know. Is a business owner even an entrepreneur? They're doing well in one particular business. Ask them to do something else, they might be clueless. And let's just say I'm looking out the window, someone's got a painting business. Is that person with a painting business an entrepreneur just because they know how to paint and get paid for it? If I ask them to talk about, I don't know, like digital marketing, or if I ask them to talk about drop shipping, would they have a clue about that? Maybe not. So do you get my point? I think it's very, very blurry. What do we think as an entrepreneur? So in terms of my first tip, then let's just say an entrepreneur is all of the above, as I mentioned, even though I don't think it should classify it. Let's just say an entrepreneur is all of the above, as I mentioned. Now, I think my first tip to an aspiring business owner or entrepreneur is, what is it you want to do? Like, what is it specifically you want to do? Because when you decide what you want to do, then your approach from there then changes. So going back to the cash flow quadrant, do you just want to be self-employed or a paid lancer? If that's what you want to do, cool. That's what you need to do. If you want to become a business owner, then your thinking has to completely be different to someone who's a self-employed or freelancer. Because let's just say, for example, both of these are entrepreneurs, your business owner and the self-employed person. But if you're the business owner, you got to be thinking much, much more long-term than the person who's just a self-employed freelancer. Because a self-employed freelancer, that's just almost like a hustle. You're just hustling. You're just doing your bit there, getting paid. Your bit there, getting paid. Your bit there, getting paid. Whereas if you're a business owner, man, you got a business by definition. You got a system in place that you need to maintain 5, 10, many years. And you want to exit it, maybe to sell it or whatever. So the thinking has to completely be different. So in terms of my first tip is to identify what is it you want to do. Do you want to become a self-employed person just as a freelancer? Or do you want to become a business owner whereby you have a whole system in place where you can step away? Because when you're a self-employed freelancer, you can't step away. That's you hands-on. You're in the trenches. As a business owner, you're back here, whereas you've got the system in place and you're trying to keep maintaining it. So really identify from the jump, what is it you want to do? Do you just want to become a self-employed person using your skills, or do you have a system as an entrepreneur, as a business owner? And then the next kind of tip I'll give you is, make sure this is actually what you want to do. Like, once upon a time, like, even me personally, I used to preach business, entrepreneur, go for it, But, bro, 2020, I have to make sure people are very, very clear what they're signing up for, because this game is not easy. For some people, if I meet them, I'll say some people, I'll just say keep your day job. Don't even consider it. Don't think about it. Because it's not easy. It's very, very difficult. So you have to make yourself aware. Is this the game you want to sign up for? You know, let's just say, for example, the game is UFC. I'm not going to encourage everybody to do UFC. That's not for everybody. It's not for everybody to get into the octagon. The same with business, same with being a business owner or whether being self-employed. It's not for everyone. It's not, because not everybody has that resilience to handle that stress, handle the disappointments. It's not for everyone. So be clear what you're signing up for. Is this actually what you really, really, really want to do? Because if it's not necessarily what you really want to do, there's nothing wrong with just keeping your day job. Just keep the day job. And in fact, talking about day jobs, the next tip I'll give you is, irrespective of where you're starting, whether you want to become the self-employed or the business owner, keep that day job on the side. Again, once upon a time, even myself, I used to be like, burn the boats. And if you want to be successful in business, you have to burn the boats. You know, using the analogy there's an analogy of the army. They want to go and take over the island. When they landed onto the island, the captain told them to burn the boats. Why? Because you either conquer the island and survive, because there's no way going back. There's no boat to go back on. So I always used to say, I remember one of my talks when I was quite early on in my business ventures, say, yeah, burn the boats. But now I'm thinking, we can't always recommend people to burn the boats either. I'll now tell people, keep the day job. Because, one, if you can keep your day job on the side, all the business profits, you can just leave into the business to grow it. But bear in mind, that's if you want to become the business owner, whereby you want to grow something rather than just being a hustler, being a self-employed. And two, the reason you should keep a day job is that it's just taking the stress off you personally, finance-wise. You know, there's nothing worse than you being all in. When I first started, I went all in. I never had a backup. I went all in. But it's nothing worse than you 100% depending on this to survive, because then you start thinking of shortcuts. You're thinking of the quick buck. You're just trying to make quick decisions. What might not be best for the business, but because you haven't eaten this week. Do you know what I mean? So if you can keep the day job on the side, that can pay you personally, then you can use the rest to grow the business. If that kind of makes sense. Or do you want to interject there, or do you want me to continue? Tips. We can give you all day, but I'm happy if you need to interject. Oh, that's a good question. So how would you know if entrepreneurship is for you? I think, again, it's going back to what you define as an entrepreneur. If it's the business owner, then that's quite easy. It's, do you want to manage? Do you want to manage a system? Or do you want to be... In fact, there's a great book on my shelf called The E-Myth by Michael G. Gerber or something like that. If you want to just be the technician, if you want to be hands-on in the business, then it's like, do you want to do that as an employee for someone else, or do you want to do it on your own back? Or if you want to become the business owner, it's like, do you want to manage the system? If you don't want to be a manager as such, if you don't want to manage the operations, then maybe owning a business is not for you. If you prefer to be hands-on, if that makes sense. So it's like, do you want to be hands-on? If you want to be hands-on, great. You can either do that becoming self-employed, or you can do that working for someone else in whatever skill you're hands-on in. Or if the business owner, if that's for you, do you want to manage a system or a process? Yes, there's advantages because you're not hands-on. You're not necessarily working for the money. Other people are working for the money, or other systems are working for the money. You're just managing it. Or if you want to be hands-on and technician in whatever skill it is. Remember, you're self-employed because you can offer a skill. You're offering a service. You're offering something for it, if that makes sense. Are you don't want any more tips? Like I said, tips is like, I want this to be more like it's like a conversation. What do you guys want? If you want tips, we can be here at tips, or if not, we can move on again. So in terms of financing your business, now for me personally, say that again, sorry. I don't necessarily, I've got to be transparent. I've never sorted finance for a business other than going on The Apprentice. So I've never done it. So I'm quite big on, don't necessarily speak on things you don't know. So personally, I don't know because I've never done that. Any business I've started is just money from my own pocket. And yeah, and the advantages of that is that, let's just say, for example, you run The Apprentice, or you run a business, you got finance, you're dependent. You're working. You're not even self-employed. You're working for the people who finance you. You know, it's their money. Like, you need to, whether they got 15% stake in for 20 grand or whatever. You're almost working with it. You got to give them their return at the end of the day. So I've never done that. I've only raised equity for myself. And any business I've started, I've never needed a lot of money for it. And you know, if you got product based, again, it goes back to the difference. Is it a service based business you're doing, or is it a product based business? You know, if it needs money to get a product going, then maybe you do need to sort finance. Or if it's a service you're delivering yourself, then you might not need to. But for me personally, I've never had to sort finance for anything I have done. It's a hard one, man. I think how to stay confident and motivated are two different things. Confidence, you know, I'm publishing self-efficacy, which is another fancy word for confidence, your self-belief. And there's 6 different sources of self-efficacy. And I think that's different to be motivated when there's down times. Because even when I've had that, I mean, I've had it, man. I feel like I had my midlife crisis in my 20s. You know what I mean? I've had it. And it's not easy. It's not. I mean, I'll keep it real with you. Even, you know, I don't know how much people know. I'm not just a speaker. I run an events business as well. I had events at the beginning of March that did not go to plan. They didn't go to plan. If you spoke to me this time last week, I might have been crawled up in the corner of my bed, because last week was a hard week for me. And it's not. I'm not going to lie to you and say that you just got to do X, you just got to do Y. It's hard. It's very difficult. Last week, Wednesday, I had to go to a mindfulness class just to make sure, just to get me out. You know, I was fuming. They didn't go to plan. So it's not easy. That's why what I mentioned earlier. Be sure, is this what you're signing up for? Be sure to be clear, is this what you want to sign up for? You know, and then in terms of staying motivated, I think it's a hard question to answer. It is difficult. You know, some people are motivated by money. It depends what motivates you. Is it money? Is it the impact you're doing to help the people that you're serving? Is it, you get what I mean? It's like, what is it that motivates you? And I think that varies person to person. Is that the apprentice one? So the question, how has being on The Apprentice opened doors for you? Now this one made me laugh, you know, because I feel like the general public, when we're on the show, I feel like we get put on a pedestal way, I know I'm probably knocking myself now. I feel like just generally, not just The Apprentice, I feel like the minute someone goes on TV, I feel like the general public puts them on a pedestal way higher than they need to be. I mean, bear in mind, yeah, they released The Apprentice names, I think, 2 weeks or how many weeks before the first episode. So why is it, yeah, from the minute my name comes out, I've got all these fans. You don't even know me. Like, you haven't even seen me on the screen yet. You don't even know. Why are you DMing me? I'm not against it. Why are you DMing me? I'm your biggest fan. I could be a dick. You haven't even seen me on a show yet. I could be an absolute dick. You know, I'm your biggest fan. You haven't even seen me on air yet. So what I mean by that, people put us on a pedestal way too high, meaning that people also assume that we're getting all of these opportunities because they assume that we're way all the way up here. And it's not just on The Apprentice, it's on all TV, the Love Islands, whatever. So in terms of the doors open, I don't want people to think that, I don't want people to assume that we get all of these opportunities that other people don't. I don't think it's like that, and I don't think The Apprentice is a show whereby, I don't think it's been a life changer. It's not been life changing. Yes, since the show I've been able to move into my own 3-bed place, whatever. But that's not to say it was because of The Apprentice. So the terminology specifically, how The Apprentice opened doors for you, I think my doors are already slightly ajar anyway. You know what I mean? I feel like they were ajar anyway. The Apprentice just gave it a little bit of a push. You know, so I don't necessarily think, for me personally, that it's drastically changed. I don't think the door's been pushed open wide. I think it was already slightly open, and The Apprentice gave a little bit of an, oh gosh. Can you still see me? Oh, so it said battery's 20%. Oh man. Alright. How can I do this? Alright, if it dies, whatever, we'll just sort it out, yeah? We'll just sort it out. Yeah, so, where was I? So I think my jaws were slightly ajar. So of course, me being a speaker, naturally, me being on TV, I got a lot more bookings. But I got down any other show that I've been on as well previously anyway. So I think that some of some of the candidates on The Apprentice say that it would change my life. Really? Really? Did it really change? Really? I mean, what was your life like before if The Apprentice really changed your life? Yes, it changed it in the short term, maybe 3 months, whatever, getting all this publicity, stopped in the street, whatever. But to say it's life-changing, it hasn't put millions in your bank. It hasn't even probably put 500,000 in your bank. It's not life-changing. Let's be real. Let's not lie to people. Do you know what I mean? Let's not lie to people. One of my best things I got from The Apprentice was being able to go to all the boohoo parties. That's probably been my favourite part. You know, meeting Amber from Love Island and raving with all these raving with all these influencers. Like, that's it. Getting all these... I don't pay for clothes anymore. Like, they're my favourite part. But is that life-changing? I don't know. Is it open doors? I don't know. But they send me free shit. I don't know. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, that's true, man. Again, I know some people in Apprentice like to fabricate things. Like, it's life-changing. Shut up. It's not life-changing. But I know people like to fabricate things, but that 20 minutes is legit. But there's a tweak to it. Yes, the minute it goes off, you've got 20 minutes. However, play the game. Like, we're not stupid, we're not stupid. You know there's going to be a task tomorrow. You know, at some point, the phone's going to go off soon. So when it got to like task 4, task 5, for example, when it got in a bit, I used to be sussed up because my room, I shared a room with Tom. Our room was to the front of the house, at the top. So we would just like see if the cars are pulling up and be like, right, there's probably going to be a phone call soon. So we'll begin to wake up a little bit earlier. Do you get what I mean? So you kind of play the game. So you've got the 20 minutes, but then also you can play the game because you got 20 minutes, not necessarily get into the cars. Remember, it's TV. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of shots you have to do. You got 20 minutes just to get downstairs. Because when you go downstairs, then you get mic'd up. Then you have your breakfast, whatever. And of course, that's all one by one. So if you're a slow person, if you're the last person getting mic'd up, if you still got time from everyone in front of you to get mic'd up to do, so that might be extra 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, then so you might have bought yourself extra 20 minutes, you get what I mean? So yes, it's 20 minutes to get ready, but that's simply to go downstairs, if that makes sense, not to necessarily get into the car. Yeah, so... Oh, bear in mind, it's almost come up to past. It might cut out as well, bear in mind. But yeah, cool, no worries. So, where's the question? What skills did I learn from The Apprentice? I think one of the first skills I learned from The Apprentice is now I just see the world differently. Like, I just see the world like... It's quite sad, and it might be seen as quite sad in a way, but I just see the world as in everything's business now. Let me illustrate that for you. Saturday night, I tell a lie. Saturday evening, I was recording the video I mentioned where I was talking about Robert Kiyosaki. He still needs to edit it, Kyrie needs to do that tonight. And in that evening, I watched American Gangster. And now American Gangster came out in 2007 when I was in school. And I watched it then, I thought it was a sick movie. And when I watched it Saturday night, I watched it through a complete... It's like these eyes weren't mine. I watched it from a complete different set of... Oh my gosh. Listen, a business idea. Invent earphones that fit in my ears and listen, you'll be on to a winner. But when I watched American Gangster on Saturday night, I watched it from a complete different point of view. I watched it from a business eyes. So The Apprentice first has changed the way I saw things. And when I watched them... Has anyone seen American Gangster? I mean, I'm asking the question, I can't even see it, if anyone has. It was on Film 4 on Saturday night. So when I watch it, like I said, I watch it from a business point of view, just watch it completely different. I can touch on the things I learned from it. And I learned so much things from watching American Gangster on Sunday night that on Sunday, I watched it again online. And it's a 3-hour movie. It took me 5 hours to watch it because every time that I was pausing it, I got this business tip, that business tip. Because coming off The Apprentice, it put me in such an intense business environment that now I can't help but analyze everything from a business perspective. So for those who don't know, for American Gangster, it's about this guy. It's about Frank Lucas, a real life person selling drugs in New York, or heroin specifically, and he got millions of pounds. And not endorsing selling drugs, I'm not trying to say that, but I was analysing the way he's selling drugs from a business. I was literally, I'm like, oh, so he did this with that distro, he did this into that branding. Like, I just saw it completely different. And that's because of The Apprentice. So I think away from anything, The Apprentice has helped me see things in a completely business point of view. So now, in terms of specifics, I mean, do you want me to go into specifics, or do you want me? Like, so what I did when I got fired, you know, R.I.P. me on the show. Oh yeah, I can hear laughter. So yeah, I've got lots of people. But anyway, when I got fired off the show, like I don't know if it's a blessing and a curse, but for me, I can be very retrospective. I can be very. I live in my head a lot. I analyze things a lot. So when I got fired, it's the worst thing ever, man. Getting fired is the worst thing ever because it's just dreadful, man. So then you get put into a hotel the night you get fired, you know, you don't have your phone, and remember, you get all contraband taken away. But you're just sitting alone in that hotel room doing nothing. You can't even, there's nothing, you haven't got a phone, you're just sitting in a hotel room. If you go outside, you haven't even got money or to go and buy anything. So I began to analyze, you know, what went wrong, what went well, what didn't. So when I got home, I went task by task and wrote down everything I did well, everything I didn't do well, and a lesson learned which I can apply for the future. So in terms of tips I learned for the apprentice, I've literally got a whole sheet of things I would analyze. Just to briefly go over, for example, just to remind you of the task just in case you forgot. Task 1, we went to Malta. That was okay. I won as PM. So that was okay. But the task that I lost is where I was more interested. So task 2 is a comic book task. To give you the background of the task, we had to create a comic book for kids. I can't remember what, 3 to 5 or whatever, however the kids were. Then we had to pitch it. Now, one thing I learned from, and I'm very, very humble with it. I don't necessarily say the things I learned from what I've done well. I like to learn things what other people have done well. So one of the big things I learned was from Jackie Fast. What she did is that when my team pitched, we pitched to WH Smith, we did our pitch, whatever. And we lost to Jackie's pitch, because what Jackie did, she walked in there and said from the start, blah, blah, we're here to, I want you to make a massive order, and we want your comics in every single store in the UK. And we were like, whoa, that was bold, man. She goes something like, we want you to place 14,000 orders. And she just said it straight, and I was like, whoa, this can either go one or two ways. And it worked because the people she pitched to like that, they're bold, they like the audacity. So one of the big things I got from that task is, don't be afraid to be bold. Just state what you want. Don't be shy about it. If you're pitching, tell them straight. Tell them, like, I want X, I want Y. Don't be, hi, I'm pitching this comic, hope you enjoy it. Walk in there like, I'm pitching this comic, we want you to make 14,000 orders. So it means to don't be afraid to be bold. Oh, are we still there? You still there? Yeah. The next task, for example, the donuts task. Yes, again, I did well selling, but it's not about me. I want to see what I can learn from other people. One thing I learned from Daniel, I'm not even too sure if I don't even know if this got aired, but one thing he did with the pricing, my team, we were the street team selling donuts in the streets, which I was good at. You know, I was just literally flogging donuts. I mean, in London, I've been doing that since school, you know what I mean? That was quite easy. But when he went to go and take our donuts to the corporate client, he came up with a staircase strategy for the pricing. So this is something that I knew from just in life anyway, but the way he did it was so swift. He said something like, I can't remember the exact numbers. He said, if you order 0 to 49 donuts, we'll give it to you at £3 a donut. If you order 50 to 99, it'll be £4 a donut. And it's just very clear, very transparent. So just when you're proposing something to a potential client, can you make it very, very clear on your offer with your proposal? So again, and that's kind of where I operate now when it comes to my speaking as well. In fact, Dab, you might have even seen that when I do my proposal on my sheets. Again, just make it quite easy for people. With the shoes now, there's a task with the shoes. Task 5, we had to create a shoe, a female shoe, and then we had to host an event to sell the shoe, and then we had to pitch it, then we had to sell it to different retailers. And this is something I learned from my bad. It's my bad, I didn't do well on it. So I was selling my shoe to this guy. It was a case of, he said that, I think I went in at, I think he'll give it to him at £30 a pair or something like that, £30 a pair, whatever. He said no. Then I said, right, what about going to 25 a pair? Again, he said no, but he said he would do at £22.50 a pair. Now, I was screwed. Now, people watching this, you guys didn't understand why. Because we were told in our brief that we couldn't go anything less than £25 a pair. Now, what I learned from that is that was the lowest we could go. So when he went low at 22.50, I couldn't even go to meet him as that. So it made me look stupid on TV for not taking his offer. But what you guys didn't know is that we weren't allowed to do that. So what I learned from that is that when you're selling something and negotiating something, you don't bring yourself down to your cost price or whatever price it is. So from 30, I should have said 25.50, so knowing that he might knock me again and bring it down to 25. So let them bring you down. If they, like, most people are going to bring you down once, but some people might bring you down twice. So bear in mind, they might bring you down twice. So you don't go down to your lowest margin. Bring it down once, bring it down a little bit, and let them bring it into the final thing you can do. Because when it comes to selling, people want to feel like they had the power, they had the decision. So they want to say the final price. They want to say the final thing they want to buy it for. Don't let it be you. You can say something. No. Okay. And do we keep going, or how we going? What? The best tip I learned on The Apprentice, or I think for me it made me more self-aware. I think in terms of just generally in life, self-awareness is key, but particularly in business and entrepreneurship is even more key. And it made me more self-aware that I am good at sales and in terms of speaking. Like I knew I could speak, but it's only when, and it's not just on the show, because again, I didn't realize that until watching it back with everyone else, because seeing the responses I've got, seeing even Claude, like look at this here, like I even got this even here. Like I did not know Claude said that. Can you read it, or is it backwards? Can you read it, or is it backwards? Is it right way around? Is it the right way around for you? Okay, cool. So, for example, I did not realize Claude said this about me until afterwards. I didn't know. Like, you know, it's very difficult on Apprentice, because when you're doing well, the other candidates aren't going to tell you you're doing well, because you're their competition. Cav and Claude, they're not necessarily going to tell you do well. They're just there scrutinising you. So it's only when I'm watching the back and I say, oh, right, I'm better at sales than I thought. I'm better at public speaking than I thought. So it just helped me become more aware of my strengths and my weaknesses. I'm even more aware of the things I'm bad at in terms of business. So, for example, even with selling, I'm not that good selling corporate. I'm not that good in the corporate. I'm good at it in the public. Like, I can sell you stuff in the public, but selling it corporately, maybe because I wear a chain, I don't know. I'm not that good in that arena. So maybe I'll delegate someone else to that, or maybe I've got to be more aware. And I'll call it the switch. That I've got to switch into my corporate self do you get what I mean? So it's helped me really become aware of me as an individual. How is this not cutting out yet? I mean, touch wood. Touch wood, but yeah, touch wood. Yeah, touch wood, but yeah, touch wood, but that I didn't like the most. I didn't like. I really didn't like, and it sounds stupid, man. It sounds really, really stupid, but I didn't like the competition aspect of it. But let me, Kyrie, you want to know? You want to know the business competition? What do you mean you like the competition? Yes, I know. I want to know the business competition, but what I mean by that, let me explain, man. Stop judging, stop executing me. Let me explain. Because as the week one, cool, fun, blah blah blah. Week two, week three, week four, it got more bitchy, more intense, more backstabby. Man, I didn't like that. I'm a person, I like to keep it 100, man. If I like you, I like you. Even if I don't like you, you won't even know that I don't like you. I still smile and feel like, Daffy, you're right. I hate you, but you won't know that. Do you get what I mean? Because I don't like arguments. I don't like conflict. I had enough conflict in my teens. I don't like conflicts. It was getting drawn out of me. I had to have argument. I had to defend myself. I didn't like that. You know, why can't we all just be nice? So I think the biggest thing I didn't like was the competition aspect in that sense. Because I want to compete. I want to win by me just being good. I don't want to win by putting you down, if that makes sense. And the producers, the directors, it's all engineered. bro, they get in your head. They get in your head. Yo, you know what he said about you, man? Yo, bro, he's. Do you get what I mean? It's not like they, like in a playground, someone says, yo, Daffy, you know what Tom said about you? If I was you, I wouldn't have that. You should go fight him. It's not obviously that intense, but it's like I didn't like that aspect of it. And of course, then when and in the boardroom, someone sticks it on you in the boardroom. I struggle to, when we got back to the house, I struggled to let that go. In the car on the way back, I'm like, man, you got to sleep with one eye open. I heard what you said about me. I'm not really good at letting go like that. If you diss me like that in public, like I struggle to. Maybe that's the South London in me. I don't know, but I struggled with that aspect. I really did. Nah, man, and that's how I realised that's even more brutal and more sad in the sense that they don't care. Like, they don't care. And once your show's done, they're planning for the next one. Do you get what I mean? It's like they don't care. Like I thought Claude liked me. Do you know what I mean? I really thought he liked me. So when it came to the rap party at the end of week 12, we had like a little apprentice party. I was like, Claude, can you mentor me? Claude, he didn't dismiss me, but it's almost like he didn't want to know. Do you know what I mean? You're just there for. You're like chewing gum. You just like chewing gum. You chew chewing gum, get your fresh breath, and then you get spat out. Do you know what I mean? They're just there temporarily. Like they don't care. Like they don't care. You're done. Do you know what I mean? We're done. It's done. And I think that's quite a bitter pill to take. For the apprentice, it was a massive part of my life. But for them, that was just series 15. Now it's series 16. Do you get what I mean? It's like you're just through the door with them. So yeah. Mm. Mm. Nah, not even. It's like, man, I wasn't scared in the slightest. I think I was a bit too cocky with it. I used to call him Alan, and I used to get in trouble for calling him Alan. Like, I'd be like I don't know, like, there's a clip of me, he called me an emoji, and I said, yeah, I'm just trying to allow out the room for you, Alan. And then Karen will be, or I can see Karen, it's Lord Sugar. I'm like, his mum called him Alan, man. I'll call him Alan. His name's Alan. Yeah, so I was very pally with him, so I wasn't scared in the slightest. So the minute I met him, like, I don't know if you remember, like, the minute he said, Coyote, so what do you do? Like, I just immediately had an instant rapport with him from the jump. So it's like, I never feared him, not one bit. Like, even now, I just see him as a pal. Even though he doesn't follow me back on Instagram or Twitter, but it's okay. Mm. Mm. Oh yes, man. Tips, man. Thank you. So like one of my biggest is that you have to pre-sell the concept before you work on it. Like pre-sell it first. But I think that's key because I think what people need to realize, so on a side note, that a product-based business and a service-based business, they're complete different things. One might as well be called apples, one might as well be called oranges. They're both fruits, completely different. And I think that's something we really learned off the show. Because me and Tom, who was my roommate, as soon as we came off the show, we both had service-based business. We were like, man, yo, we need a product-based business, man. We need a product-based business because it's complete. The way of thinking is completely different. Do you get what I mean? Anyway, irrespective of that, the best way to go off the ground is like, you got to almost pre-sell the concept first. Because you don't want to start working on it if people don't even want it. Sell it first. Sell the sizzle, not the sausage. Sell what it's going to be and then make the sausage. Because you don't want to be making, I'm a vegan as well, I'm not even talking about sausages. But you don't want to be in a factory making sausages. Alright guys, I'm selling sausages and no one wants it. Sell the concept first and then build on it afterwards, if that makes sense. Because you'll be saving yourself time, you'll be saving yourself money, and probably more importantly, even time, wasting time making something that nobody wants. However, like I said at the beginning, listen to the advice of everyone, but listen to the tips you take. There's a caveat to almost everything in life. That works in one sense. Sorry man, sorry, one second, where have you gone? Oh man. We there. Okay. Does it black out when that happens? Or do you still see me? Okay, cool. Amber, man, that's not Amber. Amber message, not from Love Island. She's my friend, but that wasn't Amber from Love Island, but a different Amber. But yeah. So pre-sell the concept first. But like I said, like most things in life, there's always a caveat. There's always an outlier. There's always, there's always an exception to the rule. I before E, except after C. So even we learn that even as kids. Do you know what I mean? So yes, I would say maybe 90% of the time, pre-sell the concept first. The only time you wouldn't want to do that if something is so novel that people won't get it until you make it. Let's take cars, for example. Before cars, there's horse and carriages. If you said to someone, man, if you tried to pre-sell the concept of a car, they'd be like, no, I'm good, man. I've got my horse and carriage. I'm good. Like, I'm good. If something's not broken, don't fix it. So if it's something so novel or so new, then you might have to show people first. You might need to make it first and then let people try it first. And the second reason I say that sometimes pre-selling doesn't work, it's like, put it so, if we had this Q&A, what are we, 15th of February? 15th of March, sorry. If we had this Q&A on the 15th of February, I would have been 100% pre-sale. But on the weekend, like I mentioned just gone, my events didn't go to plan. And now, I don't know why. Like I said, I had to go to a mindfulness class to try and understand. Like, I pre-sold that event so well, pre-sold it so well, that when it came to actually people coming, not everyone came. Like literally 50%, I can't even blame coronavirus, but coronavirus wasn't that bad last weekend. It might be, I'm blaming coronavirus actually. But like literally 50% of the people remember, people actually paid money and still didn't come. Because I pre-sold that so well, like literally, when I put up the concept, when I pre-sold the event, in the first hour, I had like 250 people click attend on the Facebook event page. Even in the height of my events, I never got that. Even in the height, even when I was making not a lot of money in events, but even at the peak of my events, I never got 250 people in the first hour. So when I pre-sold at the beginning of February, when I got 250 people in the first hour, I was like, whoa, damn. But now I think maybe I pre-sold that far too well because not everyone came. So, but going back to answer the question, pre-sell it where if possible, but that doesn't always work. Yeah. What see the person who's asked that question, have they got a particular idea in mind? 'Cause I think that'd be kind of make it more specific. Is it? Well, I kind of heard it. I think I heard the gist of it. I think I kind of heard the gist. Is it an app though? Was it an app? Okay. Yeah. and the question was how to pre-sell that. Okay, I think what I would do, and one of the, are you still with me, yeah? I have to bring it down to keep it charging. I think one of the things I would do for that is that create a landing page, and to kind of generate interest, like create a landing page. They're not even expensive to make. You can do it free on MailChimp or whatever, to kind of gauge who will be interested, and put that landing page out in many of the different communities where those people already are. So was it girls running? Did I hear girls running? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So basketball, running, whatever. So I would create personally for me. I'll create maybe a landing page with the concept, whatever it is. Then capture the person's name and email to see if they'll be interested in it, and that could work twofold. Firstly, is that, let's just say, for example, you post it wherever. You get loads of people giving a name and email just because they want access to it. For example, you could be onto a winner. That people want this, it can